We have Paul.
Yeah, Paul's here.
Oh, okay, great. Okay, all right. That's a preliminary matter. This SAC, I haven't done this for a while. As a preliminary matter, this is the signed advisory council. Kevin Kuster, chair. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear. Members, when I call your name, please respond with an affirmative. Ben Norman.
Here.
Mark Catone.
Aye.
Paul Wolf.
Here.
Staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Billy Side.
Here.
I don't believe we have any anticipated speakers. This SAC meeting is open meeting of the SAC is being conducted remotely pursuant to Chapter 2 of Acts of 2023. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless participation is required by law. This meeting will feature public comment. For this meeting, the SAC is convening via video conference. Zoom app as posted in the town's website identifying how the public may join. For Zoom meetings, please know that this meeting is being recorded and that all attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you and to take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you may broadcast may be captured by the recording. All supporting materials that have been provided members of this body are available on the town's website unless otherwise noted. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless I note otherwise. We are now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do, let me cover some ground rules for the effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, I'll go down the list of members, inviting each by name to provide comment, questions, or motions. Please hold your name until called. Further, please remember to turn your phones or computer off when you are not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and state your name before beginning. If members wish to engage in the conversation with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself. After members have spoken, the chair will afford a public comment to these members. To the public who have joined the meeting via Zoom, members of the public who wish to speak must state their name and be acknowledged by and speak through the chair. Finally, each vote of this meeting will be taken by roll call. All right. All right, so can I have a motion to adopt the agenda, please?
So move. Second.
All those in favor by roll call: Paul Wolf.
Aye.
Mark Catone.
Aye.
Ben Norman.
Aye.
And I'm in favor as well. That passes. Do we have an approval of minutes from the last meeting?
Mr. Chair, we do not have minutes for last week, 2 weeks ago's meeting. I was out for the better part of 2 weeks unexpectedly, so I'm just getting caught up.
All right, great. Public comments. Do we have anybody from the public who'd like to comment on anything that's not on the agenda? Seeing none, let's get into new business. First thing we have is 4 and 10 Broad Street. Do we have anybody here representing that? Maybe, no?
Hello, Scott Kopp.
Oh, hello.
How are you? Good morning.
Good morning. This is for scooters.
Yes.
You want to explain what you've got going? And
Yeah, sure. It's going to be a food business, a bowl concept, acai bowls, and a buffet style bowl concept.
all right. And your sign is 13 by 83.
Correct.
Billy, you know how that computes? Are we okay size-wise?
I can run the number on that real.
I believe so. Comments from the board? Mark?
We can see the rest of the images, please. The application, yeah.
Wall sign, wood, painted. I believe this is the old Nantucket native space.
Yeah.
Native made.
Correct, and that's the same size as the native made sign that's up
Oh,
there.
okay. Great, perfect. That helps. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly the same size.
Okay. And then back to the graphic. It doesn't appear that there's any kind of a border on this. I don't think I have any concerns other than I would recommend a border, maybe in the darker color outlining the frame or
Sure,
side frame or something of that nature.
sure.
And can we see the color chip, please? There. Yeah, no concerns otherwise.
Right.
Ben?
Me, Kevin?
Yeah.
Oh, I think a border would be a good idea. I want somebody to tell me that we can use this font and nobody has a concern about it. I don't know, does this fall within our guidelines? Kevin, do you have any kind of sense of that?
I question the same thing.
It's playful. I don't read it as modern. I don't know where it exactly falls accurately, but I don't find it offensive, I guess is the word.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We've seen.
I agree, but I just want to make sure that we're being fair.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've seen some scripted fonts out there before. And given the nature of Broad Street as well, it's not Main Street, and that has its own character in a way. We've seen a lot of handmade signs on the strip. So I don't know that I would take any offense to it necessarily.
But yeah, but aside from the font, definitely a border, whether it's the white or the red,
Okay.
would be good.
Okay, yeah, we'll do a red border around that sign, same color as the graphics.
Okay, Paul, do you have any comments?
Can we scroll to the application form? I just want to look at letter type or painted. Okay,
Painted, yeah.
I don't have any problems.
Okay, my comments are, I agree with both Mark and Ben on this. I think the font is acceptable for Broad Street. It's maybe not historic, but it's certainly a little retro-ish, which I think is fine down there. So would anybody have any motions to make?
I'd make a motion to approve with the addition of a border in the choosing of either the white or the darker red color.
Second,
All those in favor by roll call, Mark,
Aye.
Paul,
aye.
Ben,
Aye.
and I'm in favor as well. That passes unanimously. Thank you. Next, we have 2 Broad Street.
I will, Kevin, recuse from this one as being a tenant of the building.
All right. We have anybody here to sign or is this sign? No.
Hi, good morning. My name is Marissa Casey. I filled out the application on behalf of Bo Blair, and I believe my colleague Eamon Banks is here as well.
Okay,
Hi.
great.
Eamon Banks with 2 Broad Street, new Surfside on the Strip.
All
Morning,
right.
everybody.
Anything you want to tell us about this application?
Sure. So we are putting in a fast casual spot into 2 Broad Street. We're very excited about it. These are our signs. These are our current logos and logo types. These are current colors. We think it fits in nicely with the building and the and just Nantucket in general.
Okay, should we take all these together, or?
I wasn't sure what you guys wanted to do. I did them separately. That's what the application asked me to do.
Yeah.
But we can certainly put them all up if you would like.
No, that's fine. Let's start with the board. Ben,
I think my first question is, are you taking over the second floor of this building?
There is a tenant, I believe it's Mark, on the second floor, but we do have space on the second floor rented, yes.
For dining?
It is going to be for, Eamon, can you help me with that? I think it's going to be storage.
Yeah, no, the second floor of that building is currently half of that is Katona Architects, and then the other half is our office and dry storage. So we do, as part of the lease, that is in our square footage, part of the second floor. There is no dining on the second floor.
Okay. Yeah, I don't find this location to be respectful of the multi-use nature of this building. It feels like it's a billboard that doesn't really relate to an entrance. So I'm unfortunately not really in favor of this location of a sign.
Paul, do you have anything?
I agree with Ben 100%. It needs to be down near the door somewhere, not up in the peak. There are some instances around town of signs on the second floor, but in those cases, there's not a different business up there. So in this case, clearly, I believe this sign belongs near the entrance.
May I speak?
Sure.
I do understand your concerns about that, but you know, with the signage and the proximity to the ferry, it's kind of welcoming everybody to Nantucket that there's something down there for them to do without infringing on Katona architecture. And seeing as how we rent part of the building, it's a very subtle sign. It announces that there's a place for people to go when they come off the ferry or when they're leaving. So I would just like to put that a note, and as much as that is the Katona architect, it is also part of, we do rent some of the second floor space, and I don't see it. I do understand your concerns that I don't think it's a billboard. I think it fits very much within the island with Surfside, which is what we named it, the beach of Surfside. So it would ask that you guys consider that it's not a bright, like big, whoa, it's like, oh, hey, what's going on there? Because everybody looks up and down when they come in from the wharf there.
I would also like to mention, though, that there really is no other spot on the building. The previous tenant only had the projecting sign, which was okay. I believe that it was hanging right there by the front, and then I think that he had maybe another small one above the door. I just want people to also know that our business exists and is there. And we were worried about that based on what we're working with here.
Okay. My comments are, I appreciate what you just said. However, usually in a case where a sign is mounted away from the door is a situation where the entire building is occupied by one tenant. My concern is also that this begins to set a precedent for any other tenant in a multi-tenant building to start asking for the same thing, and we just don't see much of the signage that's up above the eye level like this, other than on single buildings. The addition would be is that you've got 3 signs on the application. I think because you're a corner lot there, you could probably have 3. However, typically it's 2 for each business, and they should be at or near the entrance. So those are my comments. I agree with the rest of the board on this. Do you want to, what's the pleasure of the board?
I was wondering if we could go through the other two applications and then circle back to this one.
Sure.
Yeah, I have one quick question on this one. This is on the Broad Street side of the building, is that correct?
Correct.
That's correct.
So when you're walking out from the boat, you won't see it.
You actually can because of the angle.
Okay, all right.
Yep, you can.
Okay, let's go on to the second application, which I believe is a projecting sign. Okay, comments on this sign? Ben, you want to continue?
Yeah, I mean, I think this location is an ideal location for a great sign to really grab your clientele. I would approve this sign, even though it seems unusual to me, but I would recommend that you look at this location as your real eye catcher for.
Yeah, I mean, if we can't have the building sign, then this one is gonna have to change. To
Right.
give you guys some sort of background information here. We use this logo type right here on all of our Surfside locations as either blade signs. They're very simple, they're illuminated. So just in terms of our brand, that's what we are trying to do here. So we were looking at this sign as using our logo type and continuing with our brand. But if we can't do the building sign, then we are going to have to change this.
Yep. But it's a great location and a great place for a hanging sign, but you may want to upgrade it to.
Okay.
Paul, do you have any comments on this?
I was only gonna make a joke is that the S is upside down. I don't have anything to add what Ben said.
Yeah, but yeah, when it's with this, it's part of our branding. And people see that and they're like, oh, tacos. Here at our other locations. And when you see it with the rest of with the previous sign, it all makes sense, but.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
but this one will have to change if we can't do the building sign. That's fine.
I agree with what's been said. I would just caution you a little bit in that when you do use logos and logo types, they shouldn't be any more than 15% of the sign. This one, I think, is a little bit more flexible because it's maybe because it's a script. I'm not sure. We haven't had anything like this before. Let's take a look at the fence sign and include them all, and then we can talk about them all at the end. Do you have anything you want to say on this, Marissa? Or?
No, here I was just trying to add signage to the north elevation. We did not want to add anything to the building itself. And we thought that people see, as you can kind of see, you can see the gable at the top right there. You can see that even from that side, you could see a building sign on the second floor right there, which is what we like, right? But the tree blocks it. So, and also you can see that it also blocks the projecting sign that's coming out right there. So from the north elevation, when that tree has leaves, you can't really see anything.
Yeah.
Obviously we want to keep that tree. So I was trying to add just some signage so people could see that we were there. Yeah.
Okay. Billy, maybe you can just check the measurements on fence signs. It's my concern.
It's 3 square feet in area, and I believe that fits the requirement.
For a fence sign. Okay.
Yep, Marissa, we measured that and made sure.
Okay, comments from the board. Ben?
Unfortunately, I see this fence sign as like a billboard. There's no entrance. It doesn't relate to access into the building. I don't think this is appropriate at all. I'm sorry, but, no, this location, it's not okay. I'm not okay with this.
Paul, do you have anything to add?
I don't disagree with Ben, but if it were to be approved, I think it needs to be up at the top of the fence, not in the middle of the fence.
All right.
Small point.
Mhm.
I was
Thanks.
also thinking about putting an arrow.
No. Oh,
No.
Can't put an, oh yeah, you can't put an arrow.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
can't do that. No.
sorry.
My comments would, I'm a little, another small joke, I'm a little on the fence. It appears to me that you could probably have a sign on that side of the building that's hanging from the, it looks like a porch or an entrance there. Or maybe you'd,
Too low.
maybe you would, you know, I think your opportunity is to work on the building with the corners of the building somehow.
Yeah,
I understand you're trying to get attention to the building and have people see it from away. However, our guidelines are primarily just to identify the building, not to advertise it.
okay.
May I?
So, I'm sorry, go ahead.
May I? So, could I ask the board members if they were thinking that underneath that overhang porch, that would be something that you would be considering as a sign that could face Easy Street?
I believe so. I think,
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
that's more typical.
Okay.
And more visible.
It's, yeah, you know, and plus you don't want somebody stealing it, you know.
Oh, someone's gonna steal that within the first 2 weeks of that thing out there.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well, I
that'll be
hope not, guys.
Yeah.
Come on, where were we?
good. You're on the script, man.
I know, guys. I know. I'm joking.
It sounds like we want to maybe hold this for some revisions.
Okay,
Maybe
so
like
what
you
are
to
the
make
steps
them- Pardon?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
What are next steps? So you would like us to revise and possibly look for a sign that is on our porch, not on the fence? There's no way to have anything that maybe came up off of the fence that was a sign like that?
No, that would not fly.
I just want to know our parameters before we get to work on it with our graphic design and Marissa as the CEO of what.
Yeah.
What
I'd say have them take a look at the video, look at the guidelines again, and our primary charge is to keep signs at or near the entrance of the building.
Okay.
The other thing you may want to consider while you're early on in your process here is I don't see any kind of a menu box or piece of information like that. If that's something that you want to have, you should have that on the application as well.
That was a conversation. The space by the door is pretty limited. It's kind of thin. So we weren't really sure where to put one.
Yeah. So it sounds like we need a motion to hold for revisions.
So moved.
Thank you, Paul. Is there a second? Ben?
Aye.
All those in favor, Paul,
Aye.
Ben,
Aye.
and I'm in favor as well. Thank you all.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
You too. Good luck.
All right. Thanks.
We're on to 12 Straight Wharf.
If I may just make a comment, I did recuse, but I do want to just remind SAC, this building that at 2 Broad we just reviewed is one of our greatest offenders in town previously due to the previous tenant. I think this
I know.
tenant would be much better and welcomed, but I do recommend that you give some thought or add some language to a decision when you arrive at one, that they are limited to the signage and maybe a note about a menu board or chalkboards or things of that nature. We have a handicap access ramp at the front of the building, which was often blocked by multiple menu boards and things of that nature that were placed out there. So I would just take a little care We've had umbrellas with logos out here. It's a very visible corner, obviously. I know you guys will do a good job, but just a reminder, we were chasing this for years. So this is
Yeah.
really an opportunity to really clean it up. And it is one of the, maybe the second building you see when you arrive by steamship. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's why I brought up the issue of the
Yeah.
menu box, just to make sure. I think this is a good opportunity to really clean that up.
Yeah, thank you.
12 Broad Street, this is the Macy warehouse.
This is Brian here, Nantucket. I'm representing for this location. I submitted a master sign plan as well as 2 other signs. I'm not sure if it makes sense to maybe review all of it. And then the master sign plan, I'm not sure what would make the most sense, but the 2 signs that I'm applying for are brand new signs. So they're kind of like proposed signs in this master sign plan.
Yeah, thank you for putting that out there. The signs that you proposed look like they are in the same location that there were some just recently.
Yeah, that's correct.
Do you know if the Macy Gallery sign, I'm assuming that was approved already?
I am not aware of that information. I know that there was in the location that I'm applying for one of the signs, it's a sure thing, that business was there. So there are existing bracket holes from that previous sign. There should be a picture somewhere in the application of that sign that was there. So I'm not sure if that was approved at all, but that was kind of the framework I was using for this sign.
Okay, so basically there's going to be two tenants in this building. And we have,
Well,
is that correct?
Yeah. No, you can go ahead.
I'm just trying to make sure that we understand kind of what's going on. There's going to be two primary tenants in the building, one upstairs and one downstairs. Is that kind of the plan?
Yeah, so the Thomas Macy Gallery, that's already there. That's going to stay there. The Artists Association Gallery, that has been there as of last year, and they're there again this year. So, you know, they wanted a sign last year, but just kind of didn't get around to it. So they're hoping for a sign this year. Their gallery is on the upstairs floor. So, yeah.
Okay. I think it makes sense to talk about the master sign plan first.
Okay.
And Ben, what are your thoughts?
So I see okay, yeah, what's number 4? What's the 4th sign? That's what I haven't seen yet.
So we're hoping to have some sort of banner there. I'm open to whatever would be allowed in terms of, you know, how long it can stay on the building, or if it can only be on the summer, or, you know, whatever. But they're hoping for basically a banner because Thomas Macy has 2 signs. So they're hoping to just, you know, draw some attraction to their gallery, basically.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if I love the number 4 banner idea. I mean, it's, I guess maybe in a temporary nature, but seems a little intense for this building. But the 1, 2, and 3 locations seem great.
Paul, do you have anything to add?
Excuse me, if the number 4 a banner, which is similar to what some of the other museums have done conceptually, it's way too high up in the air. It ought to be down lower. And it needs to be on a temporary basis with some timeframes.
If I can speak, we're totally open to that idea. This banner is a piece of artwork by Susan Coyne, so it's just like a piece of artwork on the banner, kind of. So, but totally open to that.
All right. My comments are is that I do not think the banner as proposed should be part of a master sign plan. Master sign plans typically are to be something which is passed on to the next tenant, and by making this temporary location part of the master sign plan, I believe it implies that that becomes a permanent type of a thing. So
Okay.
That's my concern with that. Why don't we,
Kevin, I didn't weigh in yet.
oh, I'm sorry, Mark, missed you, sorry.
All right. I pretty much agree with what Ben said. I do think that if we want to, we can include the banner as part of the master sign plan with the understanding that the banner is of temporary nature and has to be applied for each time one is proposed. And we can review that just as we have at the Whaling Museum. However, the Whaling Museum actually has an architectural armature in place already, which the banners were always intended to be placed when that building was designed. In this case, I find the banner's not really grounded in any way. It's just applied to this stucco face. I also don't really love the precedent that this potentially could create. Oddly, it's funny, what I actually thought I expected was the freestanding armature was to be brought back, and in some weird way, I feel like it's almost more appropriate on that than it would be on the building face. However, the armature has not been used for a number of years. I appreciate that they cleaned it up, and painted it, but I don't think it's been used since it was the little gallery was located at this property previously. So I'm a little bit challenged by number 4 in general, in terms of proposal, never mind what it may specifically be. I think 1, 2, and 3 are fine. I have some comments about 3 when it comes up, but I don't know that I could support the banner at this time. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. I agree with that, with the comments that have been made, and particularly yours, Mark. I do believe that this begins to open up the door for a whole host of temporary banners, which is not something that is appropriate. Let's go on to the other signs that are applied for, and then we can vote on them as a package. Of the, let's see what's coming up next. Which one you got, Billy? Let's take the
This is
take
the
one
wall,
over
the wall sign, the
Yeah.
projecting sign.
Okay.
Sorry, I probably circled the wrong thing accidentally. So this sign, to present it real quick. This sign is the same size as the Thomas Macy Gallery sign, just as a perspective of size.
Okay. So the other two, this sign you're saying is already approved.
Which sign? Sorry.
The Thomas the Thomas Macy Gallery. Are you asking for approval on that as well?
No, this has nothing to do with what I'm applying for. I'm applying for the Artists Association sign. The Thomas
Okay.
Macy sign is existing. I have no idea about it.
But okay,
The
but
Thomas Macy sign is to the left of the entrance. She's proposing this Artists Association sign to the right of the entrance.
okay, got it. Comments on the big sign. Mark.
Yeah. Graphically, I find it challenging. I don't feel it's complementary to the building. I think a precedent's been set by the wall sign and the existing projecting sign with the black and gold combination. They're very traditional. We've got a very traditional warehouse structure. I don't find this fitting to the building. I don't know that I find it complies to the guidelines in general, with the graphics, the logos, and so on. The logo is certainly less than 15%. And we have made provisions for that in the past. I would push and recommend for a more muted sign that is more complementary to the existing signage on the building. I also find this rather busy. I think there's a way maybe to graphically tone this down. Yeah, I think in general, I'm not, I guess I'd like to see something else proposed here and more consistent and sensitive to the existing signage that's there. Thank you.
Okay. Ben,
I completely agree with what Mark said.
Paul, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I might add the word second floor if it were taken off the sign, was a step towards making it less cluttered. And then you can put a little easel inside the door that the big gallery is on the second floor.
Okay. I agree with what's been said. I'd go so far as to recommend that it seems appropriate that the signs on the front of this building would all enhance the building to a greater degree if they were all in the same black and gold presentation. I think would just hold the building together more, even if you want to have a different font on the other sign. Just those two colors alone, I think, would help bring it together. Motions from the board or any other comments from sign here?
I think the only other thing I'd comment, I can see in the photographs that there's something applied to the glass. I know they went through great efforts to get the glass entry door, which is just kind of mind blowing to me historically, but whatever.
Yeah.
But now they're applying things to it, and I think they should have thought through that when they were thinking about making it a fully transparent entry. But then they're applying in this, and we see things applied to entries and windows all the time. But I think in this particular case, given they went for a fully transparent entry, that really stands out. And I think that has to be done more sensitively as well. And that maybe this is a comment more appropriate to the master sign plan, but it wasn't really directly addressed. And maybe we circle back on that, but I just do want to put a spotlight on that.
Yeah.
It's certainly not adding to the building aesthetic in any way. Thank you.
Okay, do we have a motion on this?
Can I make a comment really quick?
Sure, certainly.
Well, we're definitely open to resubmitting and revising. Just a question for thought, kind of. The last time I was at the meeting, a similar meeting, we had a bunch of signs, and there was a comment made that, you know, they all look the same, and it's kind of hard to, you know, I don't know how to say it, but like make it unique within the guidelines, because now it's going to turn into another same sign that looks exactly like Thomas Macy. So we were just trying to separate the two because they aren't related. So I don't know if it'd be black and gold, but maybe we could make it a dark background and a light lettering to mimic Thomas Macy, but make it still separate. Do you know what I mean?
I'm confident creatively that certainly we're not going to design it for you. And I do recall the comment that was made previously. I think that was from various building location to building location in downtown. It wasn't on the same building. In this case,
Right.
I think maintaining the spirit of a singular design across this facade is welcomed. And I think there are ways, whether you exactly use the same materials and font type as the others, or something that's close to it that's a little bit more sensitive, and that's up to you and to present back to us for comment. But I think this is one of the cases where something a little bit more cohesive is welcomed, frankly.
Okay, so the overall take is a rethinking this design and, you know, resubmitting. But in general, is the Artists Association, as long as it's less than 15%, an acceptable logo? Are you okay with those colors, or do you not want that on the sign?
I fired away, and I think the logo could be included, and it complies with, if it complies with 15%. I would prefer to see maybe and I'm open to see what you might come back with, but I'd like to see the colors muted, you know, flattened out a little bit. But that's my 2 cents. I don't know if the other members feel the same way.
Anybody else have any comments on that? Yeah, I'm more of the, on Main Street. I think it's more appropriate to have a preponderance, I guess, of black and gold or one or two color applications. So this one, it sounds like we're going to be asking for some revisions. Can I get a motion for that, please?
Motion to hold for revisions.
Second.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you. All those in favor, Paul,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Ben,
Aye.
and I'm in favor as well. Okay, now let's do the banner. And then we'll go back to the master sign plan. This, I guess, is kind of going hand in hand with the master sign plan. What
Can I
are the
ask a
comments?
question?
Sure, certainly.
This is just based off of what we just talked about on the other sign, but if this banner, if you were to be approving a banner on this side of the building in whatever capacity of timeline, if we muted the colors of the sign, we could have the banner, just as a thought, mimic whatever muted color palette we choose for the sign. So they could work together more cohesively.
Okay, one question here is, usually banners are of a temporary nature, and you're calling for that. However, they tend to either announce an event or a show or an exhibition or something, and this really just appears to be a sign that's turned into a banner. So that's a concern that I have, but let's hear what anybody else has to say. Ben?
Yeah, I think we've already talked about it. I think putting a banner in this location is not exactly sensitive to the building and sets a precedent. So unfortunately, I'm not in favor of this proposal.
Mark, anything to add?
No, I agree with what's been said. I think, Kevin, you make a good point. It's really just another sign. It's not actually announcing any particular collection or temporary installation of any sort. I was just debating, can an armature of some sort be applied to the building, whether it's, I'll back up that. I will say that banners do add another layer of interest sometimes to downtown, like flags and temporary. And I do like their temporary nature, meaning they're up for maybe a couple of weeks and they disappear. It feels festive. However, there's zero armature on the side of this building. This is really just like a sticker applied to the building in some way. And it's really not the spirit of a banner might be. Even on the Whaling Museum, there's an armature which holds the banner out off the facade. So as presented, I can't support this for a few different reasons. If they wanted to give it more thought and come back to something that they think works in the spirit of how a banner should be mounted, maybe there's a discussion there, but as presented, I'm not really in support of what we're seeing. Thank you.
Paul?
I have nothing to add.
Okay, let's,
Could we maybe explore another way to get across what we're trying to get across? Just basically signage for the artist gallery. I don't know if that means a banner, or I don't know if there's another way to maybe do this, or if there's no sign on that side of the building at all. But I don't know if there's another way to accomplish a similar thing.
You know, I don't think we can design it for you, obviously. I think
Right.
you can give some thought to how to approach it. It's a blank facade. Historically, HDC doesn't welcome a blank facade. It was originally, it's a party wall, obviously. Is there a way architecturally you guys might get creative to create what might have looked like a window that got infilled that serves as an armature down the road? I don't know. I mean, I think that's a little bit on you guys to figure out what might be best there. I think you could get creative in terms of creating something eye-catching for the pedestrians that are moving towards the wharf. I do agree earlier with the comment as Paul did. I think it should be closer to eye level or pedestrian level. It shouldn't be probably as high as it is. But I think that we're gonna leave that burden to you to sort of determine what might work and what might not.
Sure, sure. I was just meaning in terms of instead of closing the application to kind of leave it open for us to come back to you with something different to
I
explore.
think one of the things that you need to keep in mind, though, is it sounds like the Arts Association would like to have 2 signs. However,
Mhm.
the building in the master sign plan doesn't call for 2 signs. And in a situation like this building now is going to have 3 signs on it. So I think the request for a second sign for them is a bit of a stretch, frankly. And a banner, as I think we've talked about, are usually for, shorter term exhibitions or events or something. And in a situation like that, you could put one over the door. You could put, because it's not going to be a permanent thing. So, but if you'd like to leave it open, we can leave it open. But it sounds like we're either going to hold for revisions at that point, or what's the
Yeah,
pleasure of the
I
board?
guess the opportunity to, if it's allowed to present something else, if that's okay.
Sure, I think that's always an option. So it sounds like we need a motion to hold for revisions.
I make a
for-
motion to hold for revisions.
Second,
All those in favor, Mark,
Aye.
Paul,
aye,
and
Aye.
I'm in favor as well. Let's circle back up to the master sign plan now that we've gone through them all. And if I'm hearing it right, I believe the master sign plan could be approved without number 4.
Well, maybe we'll just hold it for revisions because she's wants to hold the other one for revision. So
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. I
I'd
think it makes
make a
sense.
motion to hold for revision.
Second.
All right, and all those in favor, Ben,
aye,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Paul,
aye.
and I'm in favor as well. Okay, thank you. Do we have anybody from Brant? Is Linda on?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi. Did you get a chance to look through the comments earlier?
No, I'm telling you right now, it's the same sign you've already approved, the same post you've already approved, the same colors. We're just changing the name and moving it to the entrance to the entire complex. Right now, the sign, because of the construction, is all the way to the left, where it was now behind the buildings. The entrance with the planning board and the court settlement is right here in the middle between 6 and 8. We're taking the same thing and moving it over to the right, same sign, same edging, same size, and just changing the name. That's it. Plus you have the handicap stuff that has to be posted inside the property to lead you over to the lift, which is right there on that building in the back.
Okay. The reason I just mentioned it is that there were a lot of comments that were made that I guess we can try to repeat. If I recall, there was some concern about moving a freestanding sign to a different location, that freestanding signs that are grandfathered in, like this one supposedly is to stay in that location. I understand the entrance is moved, but those were comments that were brought earlier. I believe there were also some comments about the materials that that some of the smaller signs are made out of. I think there was some plexiglass or something or other.
These are standard issue signs that we don't make. They obviously come from the AAB up in the state.
Yeah, I would just encourage you to look at the ones that were done up at Faraway. They're all wood carved, easy to make signs, the same thing.
I'm sure they're happy to do that, but it's the main sign moving and it has to move because that's the handicap entrance. That's the entrance to the entire complex. Their town is giving us a curb cut. So the handicap vans and everything else can come right there and come in. There's no point in having the sign where it is now because that's the back of the buildings. So the same exact thing you've already approved is just moving 50 feet up the street. where the entrance is, the handicap entrance is.
Right.
We can always change the sign, the material on the handicap signs is fine. They don't really care about that.
Right. Just to repeat, I don't believe that we ever approved that sign. That is a sign that was grandfathered in and has been maintained in that location.
No, we've come back to you
I
before to
understand.
have the sign approved
Okay.
in that
well, we can-
location.
All right. I
Because that was the
understand you want-
original
I
location,
think
apparently,
I think
before the
everybody-
Kaisers owned it.
I think everybody understands you want to move the sign, and there's some question about that. Nobody disputes the fact that there should be a sign at the entrance point. However, you've got an entryway with the fence and then other opportunities to put a sign up other than a freestanding sign. I just put that out there as that our charge is to eliminate and minimize the number of freestanding signs. So that's kind of at the core of this. Anyway, let's get some comments from the board. Mark?
Yeah, so I admittedly don't fully recall all our comments when we looked at this last time, but I do remember Ben, not to put a spotlight on Ben, that he understood why they were proposing to relocate that sign from the corner back in towards the entry. And with that, if we permit them to continue to use it's a rare situation that we relocate a freestanding armature. But I think in this case, the site's been redeveloped. It's not like that armature hadn't been in use previously. It was an active armature. And this is an unusual situation when they've come before us to relocate it based on a redesign of the site somewhat. And with that, I might even add that I think the location of this, I could be wrong, but I feel like it's backing off the road slightly. It's tucked in between two buildings. I do think it was kind of in an awkward location previously and maybe even more visible over there. Whereas here it feels like it's a little bit more appropriate. Graphically, it's a little quieter, the sign itself, than what it looked like previously. So I do appreciate that. So don't shoot me, but I think I could support the application based on those observations. Thanks.
Ben?
Yeah, I think I'm in agreement with Mark. I think it's a net benefit, though. It's a grandfathered freestanding sign. It's in an awkward position right now with, and it's being moved to a less visible, more tucked away location. So it's unusual approval, but I think from where existing to proposed, I think it's a net benefit for the general streetscape. So I'll support it. But I do want those interior signs to be wood. Not vinyl.
Okay, that's fine.
Paul, do you have any comments?
I think I agree with both Mark and Kevin, and Ben. As long as we mark this as an exception from the rule of previously freestanding signs, grandfathered freestanding signs.
All right. I would just like to verify the lighting on this. It appears that the rendering, if you could go back to that, Billy, I don't really see any on here, which is just fine, but I think the sign as it exists has some rather strong uplights on it.
Is the lighting proposed in the application itself?
Go back up to one of the things on the left there. If you go back up to the sign itself, up number 6, maybe. That one, and then the one just below it. It's got it'll have a little thing that, just over the top of it that shows the sign. If it's got uplighting on it, that I will take care of that. Because that's a
Yeah,
dark
Billy,
sky.
Billy, you may have a photograph that was sent in of the existing, and I don't know if it's in this. I don't think if it's in the packet, but I know we saw it last time.
It's not on the application form itself.
I think I Googled it, so hang on 1 second. I think I can pull it up. Give me a moment.
Anyway, yeah, that they're
It'd have to be a downlight on the top to
Yeah.
just illuminate it. I wouldn't support anything that's on the ground looking up.
yeah, that's my concern, because I believe that's the way it is now, and it's quite bright, and it's hidden behind that hedge, and you really don't see it driving by necessarily, but they're there now, so that's why I brought it up. I'm trying to recall that yeah, you can't see it in there, but you can kind of see the bottom of one of the light fixtures.
Yeah, just make it a condition that it'd be downlit from the top.
Yeah, all right.
That's the old sign. That's not our sign.
Okay, where are we at here? And anything on the interior signs other than making them wood?
The only thing I'm going to add, the application with the sign details, it said wood or sign foam.
Oh, yeah.
That's been commented on previously, but we will want it to be wood.
Wood. Yeah.
The drawing says wood or sign foam. I just want to make sure we
It'll be wood.
engraved wood or sign foam, painted snow white.
Yeah.
Let's make sure it's wood.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would make a motion to approve with, if downlighting or lighting is proposed, that it be downlighting and lumen levels to be consistent with the sign guidelines. And as per the interior signage to be wood, per Ben's comment earlier as
Okay.
well.
And
I get it.
okay, maybe perhaps to add that there's a net benefit to relocating this pre-existing.
Yeah, I can say that I'll add that it is atypical for the SAC to approve a freestanding armature or relocate a freestanding armature, but in this instance, we think there's an improvement to the streetscape by its relocation as proposed.
All right, perfect. All those in favor of Mark's motion?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Ben. Are you, all those in favor of Mark?
Aye.
Ben?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
And I'm in favor as well. Thank
Just
you
a
very much.
quick question to you,
Sure.
to Ms. Chairman, to the board. If I can get these wood signs not to be bright white, do I have to come back to you? The handicap signs, I'm going to try to tone down the color.
I
Fine.
don't have
Okay.
any concern with those.
Yeah.
They don't have
Yeah.
to be white.
No, I know. Yeah, take a look at the faraway ones. Those were done in a dark green and they look nice. I think you'd like them.
Okay.
Good.
Cool.
Well, thanks for
Thank
getting
you.
that cleaned up.
Thanks, Linda.
Okay. Anything on enforcement?
I've got one. First. So the library
Yeah.
has put out their little like freestanding thing in the yard where we told them not to put up the menu box looking thing. I don't know, is it a violation? I don't know, but it's poor looking, if you ask me.
Yeah. I counted 7 signs down there the other day.
Yeah,
But by the time you add there's 3 on either side of the doors, 2 on the entry pillars, and then this new ones, I saw it stuck right in the middle of the sidewalk.
Yeah.
The Athenaeum sign application is still active, so let me reach out to them and ask them to just maybe remove it until the matter is resolved.
yeah. I mean, I get what they're trying to do. I think they just need to find I think little signs everywhere are just not an effective way. I wish they would just open their doors or something. I don't know. It's just, something different, but I know they're trying to draw people to use the library, which I fully support, but the signage is not appropriate.
Yeah, it's getting really, really cluttery around the entrance. Particularly, Billy, I had mentioned perhaps when you get a chance to take a swing by the airport, it's kind of gotten out of control.
Like into the airport or up by the entrance?
All the way through the parking lot, the way
All the way
in.
through?
Yeah, that's really interesting. You think about all the time we spent on the signage for that, call it campus. Not unlike the time we spent in the hospital when it was redeveloped, and then all that signage showed up without any review back to this board. Which so I think our concern is valid, given the
Yeah.
history on that.
There are new players there too.
Yeah, obviously, yeah, and without any regard for the guidelines.
Knowledge.
Have we heard anything back from St. Paul's?
I believe they are, someone had reached out to me about doing a temporary banner while they have construction. And I did tell them, you know, it's allowed by approval, so they needed to submit an application, but that's all I've heard. I can check with Esmeralda because that was held, I think, by the full HDC board at the meeting. So I'd imagine we're waiting on some sort of revision from them.
Okay. Anything else? And
No, not at the moment. I mean, every time you guys are sending me signs, I'm following up on them, and either, you know, I'm trying to bring them to resolution with having them removed. I mean, Paul's been sending me the most of the recent. And I just cruised by Meadowview yesterday, Paul, and noticed that one, I don't know, it was like a landscaping company, that sign got removed.
yeah, I've got a couple I need to send in that I took just recently. It was actually, you don't see them unless it's at night, but they're projecting signs onto the walls on the inside of the
Okay,
buildings. It's very weird.
all right.
People are trying anything.
I appreciate that the INM took their banner down.
Yes, I reached out to the INM. They got back to me and they took it down. And I told them if they wanted that banner, just put an application in. We just need to put a date on it as to when it needs to come down.
Yeah.
Are they was there any discussion? Are they restoring their other quarter board? They used to have two on the gables, I think.
They didn't mention anything to me.
Just curious. Okay.
I realize I didn't pick up any commissioner comments earlier. Does anybody have anything to add?
I think so.
All right. Any other business? How about a motion to adjourn?
So
All right, I'll motion to adjourn.
Aye.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Mark. All those in favor, Ben?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Paul?
Bye.
And I'm in favor as well. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks,
Thank you.
everybody.
Guys.
Thanks, guys.